Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today? So, this is still execution mastery, and today I just felt that I could change the mode of sending my content because we are gradually moving into that phase where we have to really get technical and practical. So, today is about execution and work. All right, and I wouldn't know if you have received the first part of Execution Mastery Track 3. There's a part 1, part 2, which I sent to you in your email where I was trying to share with you testimonials of two students who literally embraced my ideology of work. And as we were able to clarify what they had in mind to do, they stepped out, and in 2 weeks, one of them achieved um, his result, and that was person who was trying to start an NGO for orphans. And then the second person who had in mind to really do establish a music ministry, have her first live concert, also got it done in 2 months. Now, you understand what that means. I have held a couple of concerts, and on a very large scale, and I know the level of work it demanded. So, to have been able to achieve it in 2 months is something worthy of being celebrated. So, execution and work. I already defined to you what execution meant, and that execution is about implementing. Execution is about going all out there to do the great work. It's about going all out there to make what you really want to see happen for you. There's a level of work that you're going to have to do yourself, and so it's not all that there is to work that you're going to have to outsource. There's that part that really demands your signature. There's that part that really demands your interpretation, and you have to be in love with that part to ensure that you come out successful. All right, so let me start by saying that I do believe that many people do not like the idea of work, and that idea of not the idea, the interpretation to give to the interpretation they give to what work really is part of the things that make them derail, or part of the things that make them not run, with rapid and rapt force to achieving what they want to achieve. Some people see work as stress a bit, or instead of a form of creativity. God was the person who opened us to what work was about. And we see, if we read the book of Genesis, we see clearly how God related with work. He did say at the end of it, this is good. He went into action. He was in a state where he had no idea of what he wanted to do. That's what the Bible meant by saying that the earth was without form and without void. There was darkness, and then eventually he stepped into walking. And as he stepped into walking, something good came out of it. So the best interpretation to have towards work is that work is good. Work is good for you. Work is what brings about increase. Work is what brings about favor, is what brings about abundance, it's what brings about opportunities. So when you're in that phase where you have to do some work and it's causing you pain, causing you an amount of there's no fun, as it were, because it's not the kind of fun you're used to. You feel like, oh my God, this is just too much for me. All right. And you there's the tendency to want to just back out. But that's not the time to back out. You have to just tell yourself, I'm gonna go all out with this because I need to make this happen. All right. So um that's where I want to start from. You need to see work as something good. It's going to make you stretch out to look for mentors, stretch out to look for coaches. It's going to make you ask for help. It's going to make you go look for expertise, education. It's going to make you go look out for online tutorials, buy books, webinars. Remember that we define execution as education plus expertise, and then a form of endeavor. And so that's what I'm trying to paint out to you. You're going to pray like you've never prayed before. You're going to confess like you've never confessed before. You're going to make declarations. You're going to change your mindset and your beliefs. You're going to say, no, I have to do this. All right. And that is an amount of work that we naturally don't want to relate with. And that's one of the things that make us keep shifting forward. Say procrastinate, I'll do this later, I'll do this later, I'll do this later, because we have a faulty definition, unconscious definition that we have given to work, to what work represents. Okay, so it's sometimes going to be sweet, it's sometimes not going to be sweet. For example, when I was going to put on this this is like an upscale version of my coaching platform that I started earlier in the year. I was operating with it as just WhatsApp school before, where I and a podcast channel where I upload daily podcast and teaching people how to smash their goals. But then I knew that at the beginning of the year, I had a plan to have like a virtual coaching platform, and then go from group coaching to one-on-one coaching. And then I have to sit down and then map out a system that can work for me at this phase, considering the time that I have, considering the resources that I have to put in place. And then all of that, in fact, right in front of me, I can show you like 4 notebooks where I was crafting, saying, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I need, this is what I don't need at this phase that I want to project this. So yesterday, like we're supposed to be receiving tracks every single day. It was kind of tough to put track 3 together, because not because I didn't know what I was going to say. I already have it mapped out, but I'm going to have to type it and everything. But then I got this news. I got this news about a loved one that was really, really down, and I had to just, close up on what I was doing and go do another form of work. All right, another form of work that, though it felt like it wasn't in line with what I wanted to do at that point in time, but it was a form of creative work because I had to provide care for this loved one. And then, even though it looked like a detour, all right, it then meant that I had a shorter time to do what I wanted to do for you guys. And I wasn't going to say that because that happened naturally. I felt like, oh, I'm going to let this class, just zap out, just close up and all of that. But I said, I can do this. I can still do this. I can still make this work. I can still work with my emails. I can still, and so it brought about this video method where I felt, okay, I can quickly just alternate my audio over text as doing a live video. So these are some of the things about executing. You have to just allow yourself know that there is work to be done and you're going to have to just give it in. So one, I want to talk about the internal work that it requires. Execution is internal to external, is from inside out. Now that phase of the internal, I'm going to stay there, because if you're going to rapidly execute, then you need to be able to know exactly what you're seeing internally with regards to that dream, that vision, that project, that goal, whatever it is you are seeing in your heart. That's the part of the work that nobody can do for you, because until you have been able to paint it clearly to yourself first, only then can you begin to craft it on a sheet and craft it on a paper for somebody else to be able to run with you. So is the concept of writing the vision, make it plain. But before we get to the point of writing and crafting, the thing is, have you seen clearly? That's an internal part of the work that I'm talking about. That have you seen clearly what you want to do? Not just saying, I see myself opening a fashion line, or I see myself having a music project, I see myself doing a music concert, I want to release a song, I want to release an album. That's just the face. Seeing clearly is now saying that that's like you've been impregnated with that thing. You've seen it, you're like, okay, this is it. It's opening up to you. But you have to allow the internal work completely, where face by face you're seeing it. You're like, okay, I see it as a live recording. I see it as a or I see it as a studio recording. I see it as a virtual live conference. That's for someone who is in music. That's what I see. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing myself walk, do 3 songs. I'm seeing myself do 4 songs. I'm seeing people lifting their hands, worshiping. You are impregnated with something, and you're allowing the journey to clarify within you. So this is about you, it's about you having to really catch it on the inside, because it's then you can now interpret it for someone, or interpret it to me, assuming I'm the person you want to tell about that vision, to help you now draft out a plan, or help you now draft out a model or a framework that can work for you. If you haven't seen it clearly, there's no how I would be able to help you. And that's why you see many coaches staying so long on the envisioning phase, because they are trying to help you see. They're asking you direct questions, asking you intricate questions to help you travel inside, to draw out what you really want to achieve. If that face is not clear, then there's no how you're going to run fast. So you're just going to find yourself day in, day out, just saying the same thing, but not necessarily knowing what to do next. All right. So we're saying now that whatever the project, because some of you wrote music albums, some of you wrote fashion face, some of you wrote write a book, but that's not all. If that's all you're doing, you need to sit down, give yourself, it could be 30 minutes every day, and say, as far as this thing is concerned, in the place of calmness, in the place of quietness, you see more. In the place of calmness, in the place of quietness, you reduce the noise, you see more. Create that atmosphere where you can see more, because this is what helps you to rapidly execute. All right? You don't go about different junctions, jumping here, jumping. Why? Because you know well that this is what you want to do. All right, so you're saying that at least 30 minutes, maybe in the space of 1 week or in the space of 3 days, you're sitting down and you're thinking through. I know it's a music album. I know it's a single. I know it's that. But what kind of single? What kind of song? And what kind of atmosphere? What do I see this doing? What impact is it going to have? What impact is it going to have on my brand? What How am I going to measure its success? All of this, all of this is going on and is painting that picture. All right. So once you have, and this is ongoing, it's not going to, you're not going to have to say, sometimes everything about that vision doesn't come to us at once, doesn't come to us in at a go. That's what I'm saying. You have to create that time to of quietness to say, okay, this is what I really want to do. That's the first internal work. Okay, that's the major phase of clarification. And after that, we then begin to look at the second phase, which is the external. The external, what you now begin to do externally to ensure that what you have captured on your inside is being interpreted. The next phase is what I call the crafting. All right, this is the construction phase, is crafting. Now you are trying to move everything from the intangible realm or from the abstract realm into a mold. It could be a book, it could be a system, it could be your laptop. You're now putting it into a mold. Doing that, you are in a phase of executing that project, because right now you're writing, and as you're writing, the images is being formed and cemented in your mind. All right. So it's such an important phase of executing. So you're crafting. You see, you can't. I think there's this research that talked about people who crafted, or people who wrote down the things they have in their heart and all of that, who wrote it down, are like 70% more likely to get it achieved. And I have found that to be true. everything that I have written down and said, this is what I'm going to do, sometimes you go back to it. You're just doing, and you go back to those journals, you go back to those things, and you're like, really? I'm actually following this thing letter for letter, word for word. Wow, this is amazing. So it works. It works a whole lot. You could decide to do a mini research on your own and find out from people who you have, kind of admired from afar, and they're doing maybe the things they have once said they were going to do. Ask them, was there ever a phase where they mapped, crafted it out on a book or journal or notebook or laptop or something, or told someone about it first and then began to write it out? You realize that they did. They did. So if you're still at that phase of just carrying or nurturing everything right in your head, then it's time to enter into phase two, the first phase of the external journey, where you're now putting them on a mode, on a hard copy, a notebook, a journal, and all of that. You step into that phase. Now, so at that phase, you're trying to paint out letter for letter what you're doing. Now, what happens is that as you're doing that, is further clarifying. This is how it happens for me. It's further clarifying what you're doing. And then you see yourself drawing arrows. You're drawing arrows from this place. I'm drawing this, you're drawing this. Oh, this is what is needed here. This is what is, you've drawn everything out. So let me just try to paint an example here. Okay. So at the formation phase, you're giving it shape on a surface. It could be a paper, it could be a mail, it could be moving it from it's about moving it from the mind, which is the seat of impregnation, to a device that can paint it for others to see. And so one of the things I tell people as well is leverage the devices that you have, especially when you should be able to identify when fresh thoughts concerning that project is coming to you, and then you quickly take your phone and you begin to quickly type what you see and send it to yourself as an email, send it to your box as an email, send it to your own email and as an email. That's a quick way of crafting. And what it does is that it helps us to have a model to work with. Number one, it produces a relatable picture for you to run with. You are given the project its first wings and its first mold to fly. You're shifting it from intangible to tangible. You are arranging it on paper. It's like architecting, all right? It's like constructing. It's a layout phase. That's what it is. This is the part where you are seeing to writing thoroughly from your heart to your journal. So at this phase, I'm expecting you to begin to create um, your own craft. You're saying, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. So let me quickly read out what I have here for my business, which is the next phase of my hair business, which is Edwards 2021. And the first thing I wrote here was, what I see is an open retail outlet, a space for selling categories of human hair affordable. Is a physical space. It's completely different from an e-commerce shop. I wrote it down. It's different from an e-commerce. The e-commerce is the third tier of this vision. So what I'm seeing there is a physical space, and I now travel into the physical space. What did I see there? I saw eight lines of different products. Line one, I saw my packed human hair types 4A to 7A China products, 4A to 7A local product. Line two are wigs, my wigs, the hybrid, the HS type. Then within line two, I also drew arrows and I said, okay, where am I sourcing it from? Am I going to be making them internally? Am I going to be making them myself? Or am I going to be asking, or am I going to be distributing for others? And I'm okay with option one and two, so it's clear there. My line three is also wigs, but then braided. All right, braided wigs with closure, without closure. Braided wigs, Ghana braid wigs. Twist and Bob Marley. And then the variety of styles, the bob, the coils, the straight. I wrote them down. That will be my line 3. My line 4, because of what I've seen, my line 4, I have my extensions, my jumbo, that is my extensions, the Kanekalan extensions, that is the what people call synthetic hair extensions, the jumbo, the expressions, the lush, the amigo, the noble. I have it there. That will be my line 4. And products from there. The crochets will be there. And then my line 5, my hair cosmetics, shampoo. You see, so okay, conditioners, relaxers, cream, leave-in, organic products, hair dyes. The line 6, hair accessories, hairpins, shower caps, thread, wools, rollers. The line 7, um, makeup, fashion accomplices. The line 8, the luxury brand. All right, so those are the 8 lines. Now, you can imagine if I never wrote that out. That's the products that I want to sell in, or because it's a retail outlet that I have. I'm completely different. I'm running a hair business, but I'm completely different from somebody who sees a salon. I'm completely different from someone who sees at this phase, the vision is still going to grow. I know what I see, in terms of the factory and all of that. But at this phase, this vision, this is what I see, this is what I want to accomplish, So, and um, the next question I see myself asking is, what do I need? What do I need? Now, I don't interpret. Let me help you understand something here. When you're talking about what do you need, don't go saying money on paper. That's not what you need. Itemize what you need in terms of um, the details of what you need. I'll try to explain it. What do I need? Because when you say money, and in that staffing, within that context of money is a is the space, the shop, is the products, is um the branding, is the registration, all of that. So you're not clear. So in terms of saying what do you need to be able to identify the actual need. And one of the things I learned, you know, from other visionaries around me is the fact that the actual need actually really helps you to move faster. So, for example, let's take someone who wants to. Okay, let me keep using this. So now, what do I need? I said one, a space in. Okay, that's a shop space in Akobo, Ibadan. A shop space in Akobo, Ibadan. And then I wrote there I will spread from Akobo to Bodija to Songo and all of that. But a space, my first space, this is what I see. Don't compare. As a word, a space in Akobo, Ibadan. What do I need as one? You see, because sometimes if I'm going to present this as a proposal, what's going to happen is that someone may not have the cash, as it were. Maybe he wants to partner and say he's not giving. Might say, I have a shop, I have a space in Akobo. I have that asset. I think I'll give you that asset. He hasn't given me money, but he has given me the space that I need. So you need to learn to begin to say, what do I need? And paint out those things down. So I say interior work, painting, shelves, wall decor. Because as you are carrying your vision, you know, and you're reaching out for partnerships and collaborations and all of that, these are the things people will ask you. And you might just find out that what you need is right in the hands of someone, which is one of the ways God works with us. Everything we need has been provided. All right. So number 2, I did put there interior work, painting, shelves, wall decor. 3, products. And then my products are going to be sourced from different places. So I do have China, wigs, and it doesn't mean I'm going to have to start with all of them all at once. So if somebody's saying products, oh, what kind of products? Okay, so I have 8 lines. I'm looking at the hybrid human hair products. I'm looking at the luxury hair products. I'm looking at the braided hair. I'm looking at the wigs. I'm looking at the attachments. And there are different distributors that offer these things. So, and except the person now says, okay, so what's the value that you're looking at? I've attached value to all of this. I don't want to spend anything less than 1 million on each of the lines. So for 8 lines, I'm looking at 8 million. In terms of products, I know that is 8 million that will cost me, but I have the products outlined in terms of the actual need, and I also have side to side the amount that is attached to it. So I do look at logistics, I look at how I'm going to be delivering, I look at the content of staffing for the kind of space that I want to staff. How many staffs am I going to need to work with, since I'm building a system and a structure that is not going to, that I don't want to be tied to my loins, that if I'm not there, nothing is working. So I put that my delivery, I want to work with tricycles, I want to work with logistic companies. In terms of the business, how am I running business to business or business to client? I'm running the two. All right, so I'm going to have a platform where people can walk in and order and pick. I'm also going to have a system where I can also sell to salons and get hairdressers to say, okay, fine, this is your one-stop shop for the things that you need. So it's there. So I'm looking at my partners. I know my competitors, I know my partners. My partners, I'm like, okay, and I've started working that area. I have lush hair right here, I have the prints, I have iron lady, I have standard hair, I have more color braiders, they're all there. All right, I have links that I'm trying to work with, in Lagos, expression here and all of that. So you have it written out. That's the point of crafting, because when you don't craft, then it becomes still muddled up like a web in your head or in your mind. And so that's the hard paper. So I know you might be needing a lot of help when it comes to this point, and that's why there's room for the one-on-one coaching. This is like a group coaching where if you're not still sure on how to go about this, you still feel like, oh, this thing is draining, you can initiate a one-on-one call with me. But I just felt like using an example today would help clarify the phase of the kind of work you need to start doing at this point in time. All right, the kind of work. So I've opened to you the first phase of the internal work and then the second phase of the external work. The first phase of the external work is where you begin to map out on paper so that it becomes easy. You can imagine how easy reading this thing was for you. It's already painting a picture in your mind as to the magnitude of the kind of hairline that I want to have. Is it not clear? I could also paint another picture using this life coaching series for you. So when I was going to start up with this second phase of my life coaching series, what I did was asked myself, who are those that I want to reach out to? How am I going to reach out to them? I'm reaching out to a set of people um, that are techie, that are used to, that are not strange or strangers to the whole tech world right now. And so I'm saying I don't want to I'm upgrading to a phase where I don't have to use only text in doing my coaching, but I also want to be able to house their emails. I also want to be able to send them resources. I want to be able to create worksheets for them where they can do some thinking by themselves at their own self-paced, um, at their own pace, yes, self-pacing themselves in the learning process. And so I thought through and I said, okay, fine, how am I going to get these people to come on board? How am I going to get this these people to come on board? What are the things that I need to learn? What are the things that I need to learn? This is my first time doing an audio over voice, and I began to look for softwares. I began to look for that's after drawing it out on paper. I began to look for softwares that could easily help me to achieve this from the walls of my home, and what kind of earphones am I going to require? What kind of am I going to, how do I begin to know how to use create slides? Are there already templates that could make my work faster? Who is going to help me in spreading this news? How often am I going to market it? How am I going to get people to come on board? And I set myself up to do this, because there are times you're going to have to set yourself up to be able to achieve this. So, as at the time I put the flyer out there, I was still mapping out my strategies. I was still mapping out my strategies. I knew what I wanted, but I was still mapping out and question, okay, fine, to do this. So I set myself up, saying in like 2 weeks, I told myself the first 1 week would be for um gathering, pushing, just letting people know that this is going to happen. And then at the same time, I'm trying to draw out what I need and how to quickly use them and all of that. And right now, it's gradually taking form. I'm executing, and I'm executing fast. One of the things that I did was that I identified someone who had achieved this, because that's another fast way to execute. And I studied the person's system. I studied the person's system. I looked at coaching classes that I have attended before, and I studied their system. I took note of the websites they used. Okay, I took note of the apps that they use, and I went to read about them. Okay, this is how it works. I tested. I'm like, this is good. I'm going to follow the system. This would work for me. And then I began to run. I do hope that this execution and work class track tree has opened you to see that there's a level of work that you cannot run from. There's a level of work you cannot run from if you are going to live the life of significance that you want, if you're going to live the life that you so desire, if you're going to live it, if you're going to manifest that thing you carry in your heart, then it's going to be saying yes to work. Okay, so see you on the learning platform. Have an amazing day.